Thank you. Welcome everybody to come into tonight's community meeting. I'd like to thank the judge for the use of these facilities. And talking of, there are bathrooms at the back in the outside corridor. We do have water available in the coolers at the back and in the lobby as well, if you're interested in those. My name is Sean Collins, and I am the Public Information Officer for California Interagency Incident Management Team 4. And
recording in progress.
We're in command of the Second Flat and the Coleman Creek fires, so we'll be talking about those a little bit later. We're also here going to be talking about the crater, the Jackass Butte, the stubble, and the Bald Mountain fires. So you're going to get a lot of information this evening. I know that's kind of what you're here for, is the information, and obviously an opportunity to ask questions and get some good feedback. So there's going to be a lot of, hopefully a big area that we can have those conversations after the people have spoken to you all. I've got a lot of people up here, sitting up here, and they're primarily here just to answer those questions, just in case. But we do have some people going to speak, so you know who's who in the zoo, as we say. Harney County Judge Bill Hart, Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office Chief Deputy Travis Medina, yeah, there he is. Harney County Sheriff Dan Jenkins, Agency Administrator Representative, Unit Fire Chief from Burns Interagency Fire Zone, Shane Thiel. For Second Flat and Coleman Creek Fires, Incident Commanders Kyle Jacobson and Nick Bunch. Crater, Jackass Butte, Stubble, Bald Mountain Fires, Incident Commander Matt Johnson. Second Flat and Coleman Creek Fires, Operations Section Chief Trevor Johnson. Greater Jackass Butte, Stubble, and Bald Mountain Fires, Operations Section Chief John Wallace. And we also have an incident meteorologist that may be able to help answer those questions a little bit later as well. And I don't want to forget Harney County Emergency Management, Kerry Conway. And also we have a representative from Congressman Bentz's office, so thank you for coming out this evening. So first up, I'd like to invite Harney County Judge Bill Hart.
Thank you and good evening. Geesh, it's been 2.5, 3 weeks, and just quit on me. Test one. How about this one? There we go. So anyway, it's been 2.5, 3 weeks now into this. It's been a long road. I think we are making some headway in this, but I want to start off by saying, this is definitely a team approach and a team endeavor here. From the very beginning, when we first got those lightning strikes, smoldered a couple days later, and they fired up, it was our local initial attack fire crews from Forest Service, BLM, Wildland Fire, whatever they're called these days. I'm trying to figure that all out still. But they did a great job out there on those fires initially, kind of set the stage for what was to come on the RFPAs, definitely, in that mix as well. A very, very vital resource that we have here in Harney County. But they did a great job and set the stage for turning it over to the blue team when they arrived. And then the blue team took over and hit the ground running. And it's been a great experience working with them the last couple of weeks. They're about to time out and go home, but they're turning over to the Nevada Team 4. But in between there, as things progressed and blew up more on us, we got the California Team 4. Team 4, right? Yeah. California Team 4 come in, and they definitely hit the ground running. You hear about the fires in California, so I think they've got a lot of experience in these big major complex fires. But looking forward to working with the Nevada Team 4. But in between there as well, this past weekend, as things started to escalate and get more complex out there, we looked at the conflagration process with the state and getting some more resources from the state. and I asked for us, Harney County, to get in that queue for that delegation from the governor. On Sunday, the governor signed the designation, the conflagration delegation, and our state partners, Oregon State Fire Marshals, mobilized and came in. And they brought in several task forces. Just yesterday, as an example, you had 2 day shift task force and 3 evening task forces. They've been out there. They're like the rural structural fire protection force. Our Burns and Hines firefighters only out there. They were here in 24, did great work for us in 24 during those fires, and then back again now, and they're doing great work for us now. I'm happy to say, well, I don't want to say happy to say, I'm sad on one hand and happy on the other, but out of all the structures and the homes and everything out in the path of the fire, today I found out we've only lost 1 residential structure in the path of the fire. Some outbuildings, structures and whatnot, but just 1 residence. So, thanks to the Oregon State Fire Marshal Service for that. Again, this has been a team effort. Like I said, the U.S. Forest Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Red Cross, helping us stand up shelter and everything. So it's been a lot of work. I want to thank our emergency manager, Carrie Conaway, for coordinating all these efforts here within the county with Red Cross and standing up our EOC and making sure that we had the request for resources that we need here in Harney County. Let me see. I had to write notes because I usually forget to say half of what I want to say if I don't write it down. I think that's about it. Yep, I think I covered it all. So anyway, I want to just express in closing for myself that thank you to all the outside help that's come in to help Harney County. We literally have from California to Florida, Montana, North, international, New Zealand, Australia. I think there's one gentleman out there somewhere. I don't think there's a UK team, but there is a gentleman out there from England that's out there fighting fires too. So this is a national and international response to our fires. And I greatly appreciate all of the efforts and the people that are here in Harney County to help us out.
Thank you very much, Judge. Now we get into the meat and potatoes of everything that you need to know. So for the Crater, Jackass Butte, Stubble, and Bald Mountain fires, operational update, we have Operations Section Chief John Wallace.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'll start off with the Crater fire and the Stubble fire. Those are both down adjacent to or on the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, and we've moved both of those fires into patrol status. There's not any noticeable heat out there, no noticeable smoke. We're still keeping a presence there, watching and making sure that nothing jumps up and moves around, especially with this lower humidity, higher wind days coming up. But those 2 fires are in really good shape right now and have been for several days. So let's talk a little bit about the Jackass Butte fire, also down on and adjacent to the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. The majority of this fire, all the uplands, are in really good shape. A lot of grass, a lot of sage. It burned out completely to our fire lines, and we were at there. What's still giving us a little bit of issue is out in these marshes. Area that would normally be flooded, but because it's so dry right now, it's not flooded. And so peat soils, organic soils, when that marsh grass falls over, it builds up layers over time, and when it dries out enough, those layers will burn, like charcoal in your grill. And so that's what's happening in this area and in this area of the refuge. And so we knew it was dry. The refuge project leader went out in the refuge bulldozer to try to stir things up a little bit in that organic fire. That worked. We put some water on it from a helicopter, and it stopped everything for a day or 2. But organic fire is a tough beast to fight, and so it came back. And so we decided to try to take some of our fire trucks out in the marsh, working with that refuge manager, and of course the first one got stuck this morning because it is normally a marsh. They were able to get that out, and Jess was able to show them some potential routes to get through there. So over the next few days, working with the Nevada team, they're going to be going out there and mopping up more in that marsh and trying to take care of that organic soil fire. It's just smoldering, like I said, a lot like charcoal in a grill, but there's still heat there, and when those humidities drop and the wind picks up, it could be off to the races again. So it's going to bear watching. Still some work to do there. And so over on Bald Mountain, there's been a lot of work that's gone on here. We had 15 smoke jumpers out of Boise that came in and jumped this fire initially. We also put a hot shot crew in there, the Tatanka Hot Shots. They did an amazing amount of work, did a lot of structure protection, working around the ranches out there, and making sure everything was safe. Same thing with some cattle in holdings. There was 1,100 cattle down here, 800 up here, and they worked with those landowners to make sure that those cattle were protected. So all that went really good. The hot shot crew started in this southeast corner and walked and worked their way all the way to the southwest corner and secured all this line. So it's looking really good down there. We've still got heat kind of in this area, what we call Division Alpha, and we've still got some heat up here. Yesterday afternoon, they went in here with bulldozers, a lot of aircraft, got some fire line established up on this ridge line, and we're able to hold that yesterday afternoon and again today. So we're starting to feel pretty good about this area up here. This area, they've still been working it today. So we've been utilizing aircraft in there today, bulldozers, crews, all of the firefighting tools we have at our disposal to try to cool this area down and make sure it's contained and make sure it's not going to spread any further. Working really close with the Rangeland Fire Protection Associations down there. They've been doing an amazing job out there with bulldozers, Humvees, all of their equipment, working side by side with our firefighters. And like I said, watching these 1,100 cattle down here, the 800 cattle up here, these folks decided they wanted to move this morning, so we kind of paused our operations for a little while, so there was a cattle drive that went down the fire line. But it says a lot about where this fire sits because they felt safe enough to move those cattle in a very close proximity to that fire. So things are looking better out here. There's still work to do, and the Nevada team is going to be able to help y'all through that. With that, end of report.
Thank you, Chief. And for the same group of fires, next up will be introduced to you is the Incident Commander, Matt Johnson.
Good evening. I want to thank you all for your continued engagement and interest, both in person and online. The Southern Area Team 2 will be demobilizing tomorrow, and I want to introduce Daniel Gallagher. He is the Incident Commander of the Nevada Incident Type 3 Team 4 management team. Highly competent, qualified incident commanders, incident management team. You'll be in good hands. I want to thank you for letting us be a part of your community for the past 2 weeks. You got a beautiful place. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, sir. Next up for the second flat Coleman Creek fires operational update will be Operations Section Chief Trevor Johnson.
Good evening, everybody, online and in person. While Sean gets this turned around for us to look at the map, just want to say thanks to everybody from the blue team giving us the in-brief on the second flat and all the coordination there. Looking forward to working with the Nevada team, all of our partners, Sheriff's Office, OSFM. We wouldn't be where we're at on these fires without all your help. So we'll start first on the second flat fire here just outside of Burns. A little over 100,000 acres right now, and great work by all the firefighters, the RFPAs, a lot of stuff going on across the landscape. We'll start on the north end of the fire here. This is in the Sylvies Creek area. A lot of open fire line in here, but we have hand crews, bulldozers going direct, meaning we're going as close as possible to the edge to pick up the fire line. The goal with that is to save not only the infrastructure, but we know how valuable the feed is out here in the rangelands, and we truly want to protect that and prioritize that. That operation continues along the whole eastern side of the fire. Of note, Lone Pine Road, which many of you are probably familiar with, a major corridor for power and thoroughfare in there. We're feeling really good about that area now. It's been wind tested. We've had crews in there for multiple days, so we're looking to add containment in there, and that's to protect the 395 corridor. As we come down into the southeast area of the fire, Foley Road, Marshall Lane, continued hot spots in here. Primary concern is this fuel type, right? So we're talking about that pinyon, juniper, sage, and different grasses, right? We can get a fire line around all this stuff pretty quickly, right, when we have adequate resources, but the juniper fuel type is super receptive, right? And if we leave any tree unturned, it has potential to flare up again and throw a spot across our containment line. So basically, every tree along this whole perimeter has to get checked by our firefighters. So they're doing great work out there, securing the southern border of the fire. Our priority of both incidents that we're managing between the Coleman Creek and the second flat is the community here in Burns, Hines, and everything along the Highway 20 corridor. We're aware of everything in here that could potentially get impacted, and that's where we focused the majority of our suppression resources to contain that fire. Also, that firefighting effort continues up towards Hines Logging Road. We have firefighters additionally in here doing good stuff, getting around all the structures in there. We're just being super diligent in our control of the line. That continues out here. This is just north of the Highway 20 corridor, pretty visible as you travel between here and Riley. Sage Hen Hill area. We show open fire line in here, but we've gone direct in here. Again, hand crews, engine modules going direct along fire's edge. We're still showing heat in there from our infrared imagery, but we're using aircraft and everything in our toolbox to basically combat that area of the fire. That continues the whole southern boundary of the fire here, all the way out to the Okerman Butte area that you may be familiar with. Up on the west side of the fire, this was kind of the anchor initially. Want to appreciate the blue team for the download in there. This has stayed where it's at on the western edge. We're feeling secure about that. The most significant smoke you've probably seen yesterday and today was out here towards Green Butte. This is just in between our fire's edge and what was the Egypt fire from earlier this year. So the fires here is continuing to progress to the north. Due to prioritization and lack of resources, we didn't put our folks directly in here right away. Not that we don't want to, but we have to prioritize the community and infrastructure in here. Now with how we're feeling in here, we've reprioritized a little bit, and we moved a bunch of bulldozers and crews up here today. We had aircraft overhead, and now we're picking up that edge of fire line direct. We found the most successful in this fuel type, in coordination with everybody, is to really use those bulldozers, hand crews, and then fire out some of the lines, or either going direct. Those are the two primary options that we're using in this fuel type to control the fire. We're feeling good about what we got in here, but of note, and the IMET here can answer future questions, is everybody's kind of aware of the weather that's incoming this weekend. That weather system, that cold front passage, is predominantly going to shove the fire out towards the east, so we're being super vigilant. We're keeping additional resources in here because we don't want anything to come out or surprise us. So we're focused all our efforts on the second flat and appreciate all the help with that. I'll now move over to the Coleman Creek incident. Did I lose it? I think if I step over there, so I'll kind of point from a distance here, but the Coleman Creek is now over like 210,000 acres. It is a massive fire. It is steep, inaccessible, broken ground with not a lot of great features for control. So what we've done in coordination with everybody helping us out is we've really done a good job on the western side. I think talking to the Rangeland Fire Protection Group guys out there, something like 40 to 50s of bulldozer line was put in. That's an incredible feat. Can't thank them enough for that. So we're still actively engaged on that western edge, but again, just want to thank that. And that's prevent growth down towards Dunnion and towards the south. We'll go back up to the north side of the fire. This is just south of the path. I got to stand in the exact right spot. Drink water pass, we're focused on that. That's that northwestern corner of the incident. What our priority is across the whole Coleman Creek fire is to keep the fire south of Highway 20. If we lose Highway 20 or it gets on the north side of it, there's not a lot of great options or control features, and we know how valuable is everything out there. Not that everything's not valuable, but that using the road as our control feature has been super successful. We have had numerous spots and slot fires across the line, but we've been able to pick those up and get them back within our containment lines. That continues all the way out through Gentura, where we have kind of a forward operating base set up for a lot of the folks fighting that fire, and we're just big logistical support need in supporting our folks out there. That continues to the east, and sorry I can't point directly at the map for you there, but that continues all the way along the Highway 20 corridor to Yapa Creek, which is just west of the town of Harper. Yeah, Sean's going to hook me up with a laser pointer there. We'll get all techie. If I can push the button. Okay. So that continues east from Gentura along the Highway 20 corridor. Now, with the forecasted winds we've had, this fire made runs of 13 miles, 7 miles, 10 miles over consecutive days. That's significant growth, so we had to take a step back for a second, look at how far out we plan and take control of the fire. So last night we put into play a strategic firing operation. We went out to that Yapa Creek area and we brought fire. We're not looking at topo lines here, but this is higher ground here, highlighted by the laser pointer, and we brought fire down on our terms, down to Highway 20. At the same time as that was happening, hotshot crews were bringing fire along Highway 20 and basically building our own anchor point or corner to steer fire away from the community of Harper and the Highway 20 corridor. That's a monumental task in there. We've been supported by aviation assets consistently, and we're even using our drones out there that can drop basically ping pong balls filled with ethyl glycol, which ignites fire on the ground, and it really helps us put moderate fire behavior on the landscape instead of anything extreme. But that east wind and the winds out here continue to challenge us. While those two operations were going on last night, we also came out here into the Red Butte area and using some folks from the local who did a great job. They put in a dozer line out here as a sort of checking feature, and then they're using Shumway Cutoff Road back to the west, and they've now tied that back into black. So we're doing concurrent firing operations currently to steer the fire to where it gives us the opportunity to choke it down. That operation will continue tonight, about 10 miles left in there along Crowley and Shumway Road. We've got 3 hotshot crews out there. We've prioritized our use of them. Those crews are a national resource, so getting them to help us out with this has been a huge benefit. The RFPA is out there helping us with bulldozers. We've got aircraft on scene. And really, this fire as well may be impacted by that west wind event, cold front coming through. So we're doing everything we can to stop eastern progression of the fire. A lot of ground out there, a lot of specifics I could get into you one-on-one, and I'm happy later to take questions. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Trevor. Once again, for the second flat and Coleman Creek fires, Incident Commander Kyle Jacobson.
Good evening. Trevor gave you a great rundown of what's going on with the fires. I do want to mention we're managing over 300,000 acres of fire on these 2 fires. We have roughly 400 personnel assigned to these fires. For fires this size, that's not traditional because of all the fires that are occurring in the Pacific Northwest. Resources are stretched extremely thin. So I do really want to just take a moment to thank and appreciate all of the local resources, ODF, State Fire Marshal's Office, the RFPAs, everybody that's been helping Burns, Vail districts. We would not have been able to make this progress without them engaging and assisting with these operations. So a lot of this movement that's occurring and the progress we have been making on these fire lines is with their assistance. Without their resources and the local knowledge, we wouldn't have been able to do all this. So appreciate you, everyone, being here. Be more than happy to take questions as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, now's the time. It's your chance to ask any of those questions, those tough questions. That's why I have a broad spectrum of people for you. We've got about 35 minutes to get through these questions. We're also streaming online, so we've got probably questions coming from online at the same time. I don't know. We'll find out. So what I want to do with you folks, I think because I'm seeing normally I don't know, 20, 30 people here right now. If we take the first three hands that go up, we'll ask those questions in order, and then we'll go to the internet and come back, and we'll go back and forward until all your questions are done, or we run out of time. How does that sound? All right, so the first three hands, I saw you, ma'am.
The weather front that's coming in, is it bringing in rain, electrical, thunder? Do you know?
So it's quite a very wide and varied question. Come up here, Dave. A wide and varied question is like, what are we going to expect to see when this weather front comes in?
Yes, good evening. This type of front coming in is what's known as a dry cold front. So what we're going to be dealing with a weather front like this is mainly just the winds. We're not looking for any dry thunderstorms. Unfortunately, we're also not looking for any rain with this. This is going to be a strong cold front ramping up tomorrow through into the afternoon, and we're looking at northwest winds gusting between 30 and 40 miles per hour. But we're not looking for any dry lightning either.
Thank you. Is there any more questions from the audience? No? Anything from online? No online either. Wow, we must have done a good job. That's needed. I wish this microphone would do the same. All right, well, if there's no further questions, I guess we could close the meeting. We've got plenty of information officers around, and as I say, these officers who've come out to pass on that information. We've got maps on the boards. We've got progression maps here to my right, and plenty of opportunity to ask those one-on-one questions if you want. So without further ado, thank you all very much for coming this evening, and I wish you a safe journey home.